Hello everyone, in the previous lecture we came to know RCI Act 1992. In today's lecture we are going to talk about PWD Act 1995. So first of all we look at the significance of the policy. Actually, policies ensure a safe, organized, convivial, empowering and non-discriminatory environment for work. Policy is a written statement of goal to be achieved so that any diversion can be handled. Policy also tells how to handle any diversion or disturbance, and policy tell about what the situation is and how to use it for optimization. So now let us see PWD Act. The Person with Disabilities Act in India was passed by the Parliament of India on December 12, 1995 and notified on February 7, 1996. The Act was a landmark in that for the first time it stated that people with disabilities had the right to equal opportunities and full participation, and that these rights would be protected by the law. It provides legislative support and protection to the education, adjustment and welfare of the persons with disabilities. It clearly stands for legal protection to provide equal opportunities for their education and development in an inclusive setup with their full participation in all the programs of the school attended by them. In its documentary form, it has been divided into 14 chapters. The education and welfare of the children with disabilities has been described in chapters 4th and 5th of this document. Here, chapter 4 clearly mentions the various ways and means mandatory on the part of appropriate government and local authorities for the prevention and early detection of disabilities among the masses. The Act elaborates the responsibility of central and state government, local bodies to provide services, facilities and equal opportunities to persons with disabilities. Every child with a disability has the right to free education till the age of 18 years. In integrated schools or special schools for children with disabilities shall be equipped with vocational training facilities. In the chapter 5, it has described number 1, the appropriate government and the local authorities shall ensure that every child with a disability has access to free education in an appropriate environment till he attains the age of 18 years, and endeavor to promote the integration of students with disabilities in the normal schools. Promote setting up of special schools in government and private sectors for those in need of special education in such a manner that children with disabilities living in any part of the country have access to such schools. Besides, government and local authorities shall endeavor to equip the special schools for children with disabilities living in any part of the country have access to such schools. And number 2, the appropriate governments and local authorities shall by notification make schemes for conducting part-time classes in respect of children with disabilities who having completed education up to class 5th and could not continue their studies on a whole-time basis, and conducting special part-time classes for providing functional literacy for children in the age group of 16 and above. Imparting non-formal education by utilizing the available manpower in rural areas after giving them appropriate orientation. Also imparting education through open schools or open universities. Providing every child with disability free of cost special books and equipment needed for his education. Number 3, the appropriate governments shall initiate or cause to be initiated research by official and non-governmental agencies for the purpose of designing and developing new assistive devices, teaching aids, special teaching materials or such other items are necessary to give a child with disability equal opportunities in education. Apart from that, in the chapter 4, they have mentioned about prevention and early detection of disabilities. Within the limits of their economic capacity and development, the appropriate governments and the local authorities with a view to preventing the occurrence of disabilities shall undertake or course to be undertaken surveys, investigations and research concerning the cause of occurrence of disabilities. And next one, promote various methods of preventing disabilities. Screen all the children at least one in the year for the purpose of identifying at-risk cases and provide facilities for training to the staff at the primary health centers. Sponsor or cause to be sponsored awareness campaigns and is disseminated or cause to be disseminated information for general hygiene and take measures for prenatal, parental and postnatal care of mother and child. Also educate the public through the preschool, school, primary health centers, village level workers and Anganwadi workers. And last one is create awareness amongst the masses through television, radio and other masses media on the causes of disabilities and the prevention measures to be adopted. Now let's see some other chapters says about another points like employment. Appropriate posts for PWD should be identified and reserved by the government. The identified post should be reviewed and updated in the light of advancement in the technology. It was recommended that 3% reservation in employment should be for PWD. Government should focus on formulating schemes focusing on training and welfare of persons with disabilities. Relaxing in upper age limits wherever applicable and good health, safety and provisions of accessible environment at work for persons with disabilities. So next point is non-discrimination. Attempts should be made to make all forms of transport like air, rail and road accessible to persons with disabilities. The toilets in trains, vessels, airplanes and waiting rooms should be convenient for persons using wheelchair. Affirmative action also includes installation of auditory signals at traffic lights, making prevents accessible for wheelchair, engraving on zebra crossing and edges of railway platform and other such measures. Next point is research and manpower development. The Commission recommended some priority areas for sponsoring research, such as measures for prevention of disability, community-based rehabilitation, and development of assistive devices and vocational avenues. At last, we can conclude that the Person with Disabilities Act proposed the provisions of improved educational services, medical care, vocational training, employment, and social security for all persons with disabilities. The Act stated that whenever possible, students with disabilities should be educated in regular school settings. So in this way, today we have seen Person with Disabilities Act 1995. Thanks for listening to me.